video. This week I'll be reading 5 romance books by 5 new to me romance authors, because while I love romance, reading all of Emily Henry's books isn't very diverse. I love them, but I feel like I need to get some new authors in there. So I've picked 5 different books from 5 different authors and we're gonna read them together this week, and I'm so excited because summer is also romance season and I don't know, I just feel like reading some cute little romances. I have most of them on Kindle, but here's my list of the books that we're gonna be reading this week. Wild Love by Elsie, Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher, Hookshot by Kennedy Ryan, Donut Fall in Love with Me, and then All I've Wanted, All I've Needed by A.E. Valdez. Supposedly all of them are really good. They all have really high ratings on Goodreads and a ton of good reviews also on TikTok, like from book talkers. The first book that we're going to be starting with on Kindle, as I've mentioned, is Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. I've heard so many good things about her writing, especially if the series around Collided or maybe Wrecked, I don't know the name of the series, but we're going to be reading the first book of the Wisteria Lake series. The second part, called Love Unwritten, just came out, and there's a third book coming out in 2025. I have been a little bit hesitant to start that series because it is called Lakefront Billionaires, and that's just generally, like, if that's the focus of the series, it doesn't sound like something I'm interested in, but apparently the romance is so sweet, and it's also set in a small town, Lake Wisteria, on the lake, and so I think it would be a perfect summer romance. So yeah, let's get to reading. So this book is about Julian and Dahlia. They both work in construction / interior design. Julian is the lakefront billionaire, and Dahlia just got broken up with, or like her engagement ended, so she moves back into their little hometown of Lake Wisteria, or on Lake Wisteria. That's also where Julian lives, and they were kind of high school enemies, but I think they also had a thing for each other, not quite sure yet. And their moms kind of forced them to do a project together because one of the moms wants her son to like marry off finally, and the other wants her daughter to be okay after the engagement broke off. So that's where I'm at right now, and I'm so excited to see where this story goes. I am 10% in already, and this is kind of like the introduction. You get to meet all of the characters, and now I think we're getting into the story. One chapter later and we already have our first update. Dahlia's ex-fiance Oliver, what the hell is wrong with him? The prenup? I'm speechless. What the hell? But I think that this is gonna be really good. I have a good feeling about this because it's funny. The thing with the prenup obviously was shocking, but how Julian and Dahlia interact about it, and like just generally how they talk and how they tease each other, I like it. I think this is gonna be a really good book. Let's keep reading. We are going to a little river today. I'm bringing my Kindle with Love Redesigned. I'm so happy that I started this book because it's giving me such good vibes. I am giggling. Also, Millie has a new like car thing, and she's so good how she's sitting in there, and it matches her fur. Oh yeah, go lay down. I love her so much. She is the cutest, and she's such a good girl. After a fun river day, I finished Love Redesigned, and it's a very different book. It's a very different vibe than the books that I'm used to. It's gonna be a 3-star book for me. It was a little bit too cheesy for me, and also a little bit too rough, to be honest. And there were some scenes where I was like, I don't know, but it was nice to have like a really different approach to a romance book, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really funny, and I was giggling and laughing, and all in all I'm really happy I picked this up, and I'm happy that I now have other romance books on my shelf, well, on my Kindle, but I might get it to put in my shelf too. Which brings us to the next book that I want to read that I actually conveniently got in the mail today. Do Not Fall in Love with Me will be book 2. This is kind of a shorter book, so I'm thinking this is gonna be like a quick couple of days read. I mentioned in the beginning that I was gonna read all of these in a week. Definitely not gonna happen, honestly. I do want to read through all of them kind of quickly because, as I've mentioned, summer is romance season and I just want to read some fun romances, but there's no way that I can read 5 books in a week. So it's about Lindsay, who's a baker, and Ryan, who I think is in a celebrity baking show. So they're both involved with baking. And they obviously fall in love, even though they're not supposed to. This is, according to Goodreads, quite funny and like just a fun romance book. So I'm very excited to get started with this. Also, I love the cover. It's so funny. And I love the title too, and like the donuts. I think I might have to get donuts at some point while reading this. I just finished Do Not Fall in Love with Me, 3 stars. It was really cute, but I didn't connect to the characters too well because especially Ryan, I don't know, maybe this is like kind of mean, but I feel like he didn't really have that much of a personality, and him being referred to with his full name throughout the whole book until like the last chapter was also kind of weird. So he still felt like kind of not super real to me, even though the family drama and the issues they have both with their parents were really interesting to me and I could relate to that, but I just couldn't relate to both of them personally. And I think there was just a little personality missing, or maybe it was just the fact that it wasn't those two telling the story. You like weren't in their head. As an example, Emily Henry's writing style, you're always with the characters, like they switch perspectives but you're always with the character and you know all of their thoughts, and this one you just didn't, and it felt a little bit more surface level. I also didn't love the fact that his abs were mentioned so many times. Like, I get it, he apparently looks very good and is very fit, but like how many times do you really have to mention it? I did enjoy it, it was fun, but I'm probably not going to be thinking about it too much again, so 3 stars. And next up I'll be reading Hookshot on my Kindle. I hate the cover, so I don't really want to have this on my shelf. There is a cuter version that I found online, like just of the cover, but the book's not available with that cover. But I've been noticing a theme with the romances in this video, and that's that they all have a theme. Hookshot obviously is basketball themed. Do Not Fall in Love was like baking donut themed. And then obviously we have the billionaire theme. And I am not sure if I love themes in romances. I honestly like just like summer romances with some deeper issues in them, but like still keeping it light and fun, but also having like emotional depth. I think that's my theme in romances that I like. But we have a basketball theme, and then we also have a cowboy theme, and I don't remember the last theme, but we still have a couple more themes to these romances. But yeah, Hookshot by Candy Ryan is gonna be my 3rd book, and I'm very excited to read this because I also haven't read a book by her, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be in this video. But I'm very excited to get into this because I think that maybe sports or like basketball romances could be a little bit more up my alley than baking romances. We'll see, and I'm very excited to get started. 50% update on Hookshot. I love this book so much. I instantly connected to both of the characters. I love the way that they communicate with each other and how open and honest they are, especially Keenan with his daughter and like actually explaining everything. I love it so much. Also the New York vibes. I love it. I can just see them having the best time walking around the city, enjoying city life. I want to do that. I want to be them. I also think Lotus's great-grandmother's like voodoo element is really interesting. I also really love the dual point of views. I just love knowing what all of the characters are thinking all of the time, or like half of the time I guess. I just love it. I am obsessed with this book and I'm gonna read it today by the beach. I'm gonna bring it with me. The first 50% went by really quickly, and maybe I'll be able to finish it like today or maybe tomorrow. Just got back to the beach and I put my progress into Goodreads, and tell me why I only just saw that Hookshot is part 3 of like a standalone interconnected series. And I've been wondering about Iris, about Lotus's cousin, and also Keenan's assistant. I think her name is Banner. I've been wondering why their names are like dropped so many times. I just figured it out because the first part, or let me check actually. So the first book in the series is called Long Shot, and that's about Iris and August. And Iris is Lotus's cousin, and August and Keenan are friends or like teammates. Obviously I don't know the full story now, which is so sad. I think I need to read those. And then book 2 is about Jared Foster. Don't remember him appearing. And the second book is also about Banner Morales, and she's Keenan's assistant. And I'm so sad because I read the Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez, and I think that reading that series and like the standalone interconnected things in order made it so much better. So I'm so sad because maybe I'm missing out on so many like hints and clues and everything. And it looks like Hookshot is the last part. It doesn't look like there's a fourth part, so maybe I've just taken away the best experience for myself. Because to be honest, this book is looking like a 4 to 5 star right now, but I also have to mention, definitely look up trigger warnings before reading this book, because there is some really messed up stuff happening, or that happened I guess in Lotus's childhood, and you should check for that because it's very heavy. But I love the book so much, and I'm so sad that I, as I've mentioned, might have taken away the best experience for myself. So I might need to get the first 2 parts, but I'm like 70% through the book, so it doesn't make sense to like read the other 2 first and then come back to this one, because that would just take way too long. But that's like, right now it feels like that's the biggest mistake I've ever made. So yeah, just a PSA for everybody reading this book. Start probably with the first one. So there's Long Shot, Block Shot, and then Hook Shot, and the series is called Hoops. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading and be upset about myself for not checking first. I finished Hookshot last night. I binged the last like 30%. I could not stop. 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. As I mentioned, I'm kind of sad that I didn't put it into Goodreads first and see that it is part of a series. So I'm definitely gonna read the first 2 parts now in order. Also, definitely check trigger warnings. There's a lot of heavy stuff happening in the book, but I generally, apart from the heavy stuff, really enjoyed it. I really liked her writing style. It felt very poetic, and I have a lot of lines either like photographed from Kindle, or I tried to mark it. I couldn't figure out how to do it just right. And I love the grammar. My grammar reminds me of Mimi a tiny little bit, not like in an obvious sense, but I feel like the way that Kennedy Ryan described like the vibe of the grammar is the exact same vibe that I got from my grammar, and it was just very beautiful and cute, and I loved it. And I'm so happy that I picked up the book, because now I have like a couple more books, because I saw that Kennedy Ryan also has different series, one about like, I think Hollywood like music producers, and or maybe like film producers, I don't know, something around that line. And I'm so happy that I found a new author that I really enjoy. And to switch it up, we're gonna be reading Wild Love next. I'm trying to alternate between Kindle and like actual physical books so I don't get bored. I love the cover of this one. This is, I think, a cowboy romance. Oh no, it's also billionaires. So it's about Ford, who is the world's hottest billionaire apparently, and then Rosie, and she is a beautiful, messy, chaotic storm, whatever that means. But this is supposed to be really fun, and I'm very excited to read this. I might have made a mistake. I thought this was cowboy romance, but it looks like it is music producer type, so what I've mentioned that Kennedy Ryan also has. Anyways, we're gonna be reading this next. I'm very excited. The video is taking a kind of like more positive route, because the first 2 I didn't love, but I really enjoyed Hookshot, and I have a good feeling about this one. And then the last book, All I've Wanted, All I've Needed, also has such good Goodreads reviews, so I think that these 3 might be my favorites. So far, Hookshot is definitely my favorite, obviously, but maybe this can top it. We have a little map in front. This right here is Rose Hill, where this series takes place, and with Chestnut Springs, which is also one of his series. And I just found out that Gold Rush, another one of his series, is in Ruby Creek. So I'm wondering if these 2 are also somehow connected to any of her books, because I honestly don't know the geography of Canada that well to know if these are real places or not. But yeah, we're right here, and this is where this book takes place. I also just picked this perfectly matching tab color, and then I also have this little cute pink bookmark, and this is my reading setup for this book. So we just met Rosie at her like big girl job in the city, and her boss is disgusting. And usually I don't have like super visible reactions, but there's just a few things, like huge plot twists and things like this, where I just cannot control my face, because that's just absolutely no. Good morning everybody. I finished Wild Love last night. First of all, I've never tapped this much in my entire life. This book was so good, so funny. Most of these are either like beautiful lines or lines where I just literally had to laugh out loud. They write emails to each other and it's just the funniest thing ever. I think the first like email thread where they start their like email banter, that was my favorite thing. I also really like the side plot of Cora, which is Ford's unexpected daughter. And I have to correct myself, this isn't like the focus isn't supposed to be like billionaires, but it's single dads finding love and also like the relationship with their kids. There is 4 books in this series I think, and I ordered the second one last night because I'm obsessed. And the second one is about Rosie's brother West. So good. I do have to say it's not 5-star because there are romance books that are like even better, so I'm gonna put it at 4.75, which I've never really done before because 4 stars feels too low for how much I loved it. But it's, I don't know, overall I really like this book. I really highly recommend it. It was so fun. I also think Ford's parents are really funny. We didn't get to see too much of Rosie's parents as far as I remember. I don't really remember much about Rosie's family like overall except for West, but maybe that's gonna be in the second, in West's book. Very much enjoyed this. Really highly recommended. 4.75 stars. And the next book that I'm gonna be reading is All I've Wanted, All I've Needed by A.E. Valdez. I'm gonna be reading that on Kindle and I'm so excited to start this. This one's actually kind of a shorter book. I think it has under 300 pages, so I think it's gonna go by really quick, and I have high hopes for this one because I've read so many good reviews that it's like so amazingly good and beautiful, so I'm very excited to start this. Good morning. So I started All I've Wanted, All I've Needed last night. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna read a couple of pages, like percent on Kindle, just to get a feel for the book and to get into it for today, because today we're having another river beach day. I read 65%. That was unexpected. To be honest, I read a lot of Goodreads reviews that said, sorry, Mindy's having her breakfast too right now, but a lot of Goodreads reviews said the first like 20 to 30% are a little bit of a rocky start, and I agree. I was not connecting at all, but thank God I read those reviews because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna push past those like 30%, and then exactly at 30% there's this like willow tree scene. Like there's a couple people under the willow tree, including Harlow and her love interest, and that's where it started to kind of pick up for me because that's when the main characters actually connect, and that's when it stops jumping so much in time. Because the first, I want to say like 20 to 30% are like months. The book starts out with her breaking off her prior relationship, and then she goes on this retreat in Bali with 2 of her friends, and both of these things for me would be like kind of important points, but they're just kind of touched on lightly. Like in Bali, I think there's just a couple of pages where she's like arriving and then the last day, and it's just kind of like you don't really get much information, but I would have loved to see like the girls in Bali, you know. Really like the writing style. There's like a lot of almost like quotes, like sentences you could use as quotes in there, but I think they're not overly done. I think they're perfect. I think they're just the right amount of like wisdom, but make it actually like believable in the conversation. We are apparently the first ones here. Just my boyfriend getting a chair. It's so pretty. Woo! She's so cute. So I just got to about 70% and it looks like a third act breakup is about to happen, and I hope not because there's so little pages and I don't want them to be like wasted on the third act like breakup drama. I just want like I finally just want like their love to move along and not them breaking up. So I'm hoping that's not what's happening, but I fear it is. I finished All I Wanted, All I've Needed by the beach, and as I've mentioned at the beach, the last 20%-ish were not my favorite. It just felt kind of disconnected from the rest of the plot. There was a third act breakup that took like, I don't know, I think it was a couple of days, but it felt like it was just like 2 hours just to throw it in there so you can check off that that's also one of the plot points. But let's start with the positives. I really liked as I've mentioned, the wisdom sprinkled in, and I really like their like solid friendship foundation. But what I didn't like is that as soon as they got together, it felt kind of disconnected from everything before, because before they were so like sweet and they were getting to know each other, and so, I don't know, sweet is just a word that I can, like, that describes it best. And then it just felt kind of disconnected, because again, then it jumped so many like weeks and months at a time, and I don't know, I liked them better when they were friends, honestly. Obviously it wasn't like a regular friendship, there was like, definitely, it was basically like a platonic relationship, I would say. And the thing with this book is the beginning was kind of slow and the end let me down. So I liked, I want to say 60% of the book. I really enjoyed that, but the rest I was just expecting more. So I'm gonna give this 3 stars, which is sad because I thought that I really thought that this was gonna be my favorite book, to be honest, because the Goodreads reviews are so good. But sadly, it's at a 3 star. It's still good, I would still recommend it. I think this would be a really nice vacation book that you can easily finish in one day. But there's just a couple things that I didn't love, so that's why it's a 3 star. And since this is the last book of this little challenge, I want to go through all of them quickly and give you my positive reviews. We started off with Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher on Kindle. I really liked how fun the dynamic is and how they communicated with each other. I think it was really nice and refreshing, and I liked the interior design part, so that was really nice, and that was 3 stars. Then we had Do Not Fall in Love by Jackie Lau. I really thought the setting was really cute with the bakery, and I also think it was fun that they introduced like their friends to each other, and I could also really relate to the like difficult relationships that both of them have with not only their parents but kind of their whole families, so that was also really nice. This was also a 3 star. Then we had Hookshot by Kennedy Ryan on Kindle, one of my 2 favorites, a 4 star book. I want to say 4.5 maybe even. A really fun book. I loved the New York setting. I loved again how they communicated with each other. It was so fun. It just gave me the best vibes, and I also loved Lotus's grandma Mimi, and as I've mentioned before, it's the 3rd part in an interconnected series, so definitely recommend reading the first 2 parts, which is what I'm gonna do probably next month. Then we had Wild Love by Elsie Silver, 4.75. So good, so fun. I loved the lake setting, and also again like their banter was how they were basically insulting each other and like shit talking each other at work all the time, and I thought the emails were so funny. I really liked that. There wasn't too much family drama involved because Ford has a pretty okay, like good relationship with his parents, and this is the first book in a, I think, 4-part series, and the second book is about Rosie's brother, and I think we're gonna get to hear more about Rosie's family in the second part, so there was not too much family issues going on, but I really enjoyed it. It was so fun. And then now we're ending with All I've Wanted, All I've Needed by A.E. Valdez on Kindle. Again, 3 stars. I really like the middle part where they get to know each other, starting with the willow tree scene, and that was just really fun and felt really like genuine and the kind of slow and real. My favorite new authors that I definitely will be reading more of are Elsie Silver and Kennedy Ryan. I love both of their writing styles, and I love that they both have romance series, so I'm definitely gonna be reading like a lot more books, because once you start a series you want to know what happens to all of the side characters, you know? And so I'm really happy that I did this, because now I have 2 new romance authors that I really like. If you've read any of these books, please let me know your opinions. I really want to talk about them. Also, if you have any other new romance author recommendations, send them my way, because I really do want to focus on kind of expanding my romance book horizon to find out what I actually really like in books. I found out in this video that I really like dual point of views. That's really important to me for some reason, because I want to be in the character's head. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!